I'll tell you what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to put the bins on in a minute and read you a fullish article that I read earlier regarding Nigel's Reform Party there. You may have heard the news today, you may not have done. I'll read it to you. I think it's like a bombshell statement, unlike anything I've probably ever heard before. And I'll read it to you. Just put in the comment section what you think. It concerns Rupert Lowe. I think it's Rupert Lowe, a Reform MP. I think he was the ex-chairman at Southampton. I don't think he's chairman anymore, but I think he was. He said politics is a doddle compared to running a Premier League club. He said, honestly, it's dead easy. Anyway, he's been with Reform till recently, till only a day or two ago. They've got rid of him, they've kicked him out. I'll explain why in a moment, and I'll read you his statements. Now, I don't know Rupert Lowe that well. I don't know if he's a nice fella, a bad fella, an honourable fella. I don't at all. But I'll read you what he's put, and then I'll give you my view at the end. It just shocked me, it really did. There's a hell of a lot more to read to you other than the statement, but I'm not going to go that far because the statement's long enough. So as I say, ex-Southampton chairman, I believe he's worth a few million quid, and I think I read he employs about 350 people. Anyway, he's been kicked out of the party. He's spoken up about how the party's being run and how he feels things need to change. And he's saying there's been a backlash and they've had to find a way to get rid of him. And they've accused him of serious bullying against 2 female staff and threatening of the party chairman, Zia Yusuf, with physical violence. So he's either been kicked out or suspended. I mean, he might say this. So anyway, this is what his statement was. He's put in his statement, I am disappointed but not surprised to read Reform's untrue and false allegations. Let me be abundantly clear. This investigation is based on 0 credible evidence against me, as has been repeatedly stated by the neutral investigator. None has been provided. Sorry, I'll reread that. I didn't phrase it well. Let me be abundantly clear. This investigation is based on 0 credible evidence against me, as has been repeatedly stated by the neutral investigator. None has been provided. Allegations of physical threats are outrageous and entirely untrue. I have never made any derogatory comments about women or those with disabilities. This is a lie. It is no surprise that this... I don't know what this word is. I've never heard this before in my life. I'm not that clever. I'll tell you how I read it and then I'll probably spell it to you because I don't know what it pigging means. It is no surprise that this vexatious statement, VEXATIOUS, this vexatious statement has been issued the day after my reasonable and constructive questions of Nigel and the reform structure. All I stated was that the communication needs to improve. Delegation needs to improve. Structure needs to improve. These are all reasonable requests of a party looking to form the next government. I stand by everything I said. He's saying that's what the party needs to do to get to the position to run a country. I have been pushing for this behind the scenes for many months, with 0 success. I have been frozen out of meetings and policy discussions, press conferences and more. My repeated requests for better communication and regular meetings have been ignored and mocked. I did not speak publicly without exhausting all other options repeatedly. Our voters, our members and our country all deserve so much better than this. I do not believe Reform members will be pleased to know that their membership fees are being spent on instructing expensive lawyers to investigate their own MPs over matters that are entirely baseless. The staff member in question only raised the vexatious, whatever I said before, complaint once disciplinary proceedings have been initiated against them for serious wrongdoing. The other individual mentioned dropped her appeal. If they want to kick me out over false claims, they'll have to finally present some credible evidence against me. A complete inability to accept even the most mild, constructive criticism without such a malicious reaction is not effective leadership. This is our party as much as it is Nigel's. Now he's saying he's been kicked out and accused of falsehoods only because he's raised concerns about the party in general. And I read that and I thought to myself, I'll tell you what, when you read that, you do really, really, really believe he's done no wrong. Because if he's done wrong, that is some statement. He's really going at it hard there, and he's absolutely adamant he's in the clear, no wrongdoings, and they've just found a reason to kick him out. Baseless accusations, had to find a reason to kick him out because Nigel and the big boys at the top aren't happy that he stood up and said we're not running the party as we should do. And I read that and I thought to myself, he just doesn't sound guilty. I mean, I don't know the fella. I think, as I say, there's a big piece after these 4 pages. I've not read it all. That was just the statement. And I think he's saying it. I think it says that, as I say, he's got 20 or 30 million in the bank. He employs 300 odd people. Never had any problems of any kind with bullying or anything against women. His wife there is with him as he's putting out the statement, standing by him. I mean, they always do, I suppose, but still, he just seemed too clean and green for me. But I'm thinking to myself, if that party are making things up just to have a reason to get rid of somebody, doesn't say a lot about the party, does it? You know, when at the moment they're almost the great white hope, because the other parties aren't covering themselves in glory. You know, but a party leader should be able to take those, what some might say is constructive criticisms of the way the party's run, on the chin, and maybe either take them on board or sit down with the guy that's bringing them up and discuss them. You know, when all's said and done, if he's worth plenty of million quids and he's run a football club in the Premier League and he's employing that many people, he must have some semblance of common sense. If this guy sees that and he's in the party and thinks things could be run better, surely as a leader you'd sit down with him and pick his brains and, you know, either agree or disagree with him, but maybe take some things from what he says. You wouldn't just make something up and boot him out, would you? That is, unless it's not made up. But if it's not, I thought that's some kind of statement he's put out there. I don't know. What do you think, folks? Do you know the fella? Do you know the ex-Southampton owner? I don't, you see. I did know the name, but I don't know him. But I'll tell you what, I thought that was some kind of statement that I really, really did. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section.